What's up, guys? Josh B here, and today we are going to continue the Yu-Gi-Oh Archetype Series. Now, be sure to like the video. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Also, smash the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any other of my videos. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell down below so that you'll be notified when I go live next on my Archetype series videos or my Rise of the Planet series. But let's get right into it, shall we? Last week we did so last week we did Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, but this time we're doing Dark World. Now, Dark World, or Enko Kukai, is an archetype consisting of dark fiend monsters. This archetype is prominent for its discarding effects from your hand into the graveyard, as many Dark World monsters retain and gain extra effects, depending on which player's card effect discarded them. They were introduced in Elemental Energy, with further support in Strike of Neos, Gates of the Underworld structure deck, and Primal Origin. Braun, Mad King of Dark World, uses this archetype in the Yu-Gi-Oh GX anime. Several other members also appear in the Yu-Gi-Oh GX anime as dual spirits. Now for the naming. The names of Dark World monsters are mostly based on colors, many of which feature prominently in their artwork and their army positions. The English names are based on the words for the colors, with letters added and removed. The Japanese names are based on the transcriptions of the English words for the colors, with one or more moire deleted. The Chinese names are combinations of the color names and transliteration of the English or Japanese words in terms of phonetics. The anime-only Dark Corridor also belongs to this archetype, since its kanji name begins with Dark World. So Dark World Thorns and Cyber Soldier of Dark World are not Dark World cards, reflecting by their names using Dark World instead of Dark World. So basically it's saying like Dark World using one name, like one word, instead of the Dark World, which is two things, two words. So here we go. So we got Beige, which is a Vanguard, Brow, Hunter, Brawn is King, Ceruli is Guru, Cobalt is Excavator, Colorless is King, Genta is Gateman, Gold is Woolord, Grapha is Dragonlord, Gren is Tactician, Kaki is Gorilla, Latinum is Exarch, Lucent is Netherlord, Rainbow is Overlord, Pearl is Hermit, Wrench is Gatekeeper, Scar is Scout, Silva is Warlord, Snow is Unlight, and Jur is Knight. So here are the basic strategy. So Dark World cards are generally intended to gain advantage by activating Summoning, Destruction, and other effects through discarding cards through effects from your hand to the graveyard. Many Dark World monsters gain extra effects in the graveyard if they were discarded by an opponent's card effects. For example, Brow, Huntsman of Dark World, has an effect that when it's discarded, you get to draw a card, But if it's discarded by your opponent's effect, that means you get to draw one extra card. They are based around effects that activate when they are discarded from the hand to the graveyard by a card effect. This does not include costs that require the user to discard, such as Lightning Vortex, or effects that send cards from the hand to the graveyard without discarding, such as hand destruction or card destruction, maybe. No, I don't actually no. Uh, Card destruction is an example of discarding, not sending from hand to the graveyard. Dark World monsters can rapidly and aggressively swarm the field and overwhelm the opponent by destroying and discarding your opponent's cards. The deck's main boss monster, Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World, has a built-in destruction effect and the ability to special summon itself from the graveyard, coupled with its high attack points. It is the key card in any Dark World deck. By the way, back in like 2018, 2019, sort of, back when Firewall Dragon used to be pre-errata and it wasn't banned, have you ever experienced the Cannon Soldier Grapha? Have you ever experienced the Cannon Soldier Firewall Dragon FTK? If so, I feel really bad for you, because I haven't really experienced it myself though, and I'm lucky I didn't, because that would have been one hell of a nightmare. But for those who didn't, like me, then consider yourself safe for now, because I have a feeling that you'll be experiencing FTKs in the future based on Dark World, if Dark World gets new support. I have a feeling I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna become one of you guys too. But anyway, with the Gates of the Underworld structure deck, the deck picked up more speed in summoning and getting card effects. In addition to the aforementioned Grapha, it introduced Snow, Unlight of Dark World, whose effect allows for quick searches and deck thinning. On the other hand, the deck no longer needed to rely on Gold, Warlord of Dark World, and Silva, Warlord of Dark World. I don't know what I did there, sorry. For power. Their high level means that they will often sit unused in the hand, although they could still be viable for some strategies, such as a rank 5 Xyz summon. Using your discard outlets for other cards such as Grapha or Snow is often more favorable to either immediately remove a threat or search the deck for a card you need. Another uncommon strategy, there we go, is discarding Ceruli, Guru of Dark World, when you have a Dark World monster that gains effects when discarded by an opponent's card effects, for example, Rainbow, Overlord of Dark World, Gold or Snow. Since the effect of Ceruli summons itself on the opponent's side of the field, you are the target of his discard effect. This gives your Dark World monster a special effect and wastes the opponent's field space. Dark World Brainwashing and Dark Deal disrupt the opponent's cards as they change effects into a random discard on you. What's Dark Deal? Wait a minute. Is Dark Deal a Dark World card? When your opponent activates a normal spell card, pay 1,000 life points. The effect of that normal spell card becomes your opponent discards one random card. I don't know if it's a Dark World card, but I'm definitely playing it in my deck because it supports it. As per the new Master Rules, Dark World suffers almost nothing and can gain a better field control as the opponent would lack a strong monster to take down your monster. With the release of danger monsters, if you didn't check out my danger episode, you can check it out here. Dark World decks now have a powerful new allied archetype with similar themes to call upon, expanding their firepower at the cost of more random discards. Oh my god. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Here we go. The Dark World FTK was, as of the September 2018 TCG Forbidden Limitless, a very powerful tournament viable strategy. Utilizing Cannon Soldier to tribute Grapha and Firewall Dragon to summon any other Dark World from your hand, which is used to summon Grapha, repeating the loop until your opponent runs out of life points. That's what the FTK is. While methods to reach this combo varied, they normally used a danger engine of some kind, and they all shared the same weaknesses as other FTKs. Hand traps. With the power of the danger deck, it was not uncommon to see this deck winning without the FTK. However, now as of the December 2018 list, or Firewall Dragon is forbidden, making this loop unplayable in the advanced format. Actually, a couple of ban lists ago, I can't remember which one it was though, Firewall Dragon is back, but not without an errata. So the Firewall Dragon without the errata used to say that when your monster leaves the field, if your monster leaves the field, you could special summon one. Actually, no. When your monster leaves the field, once per turn, no once per turn. You could special summon one monster from your hand, and that was not once per turn, but it is once per turn now. So this section will show exactly which effects are activated with any Dark World monster's discard. This also shows exactly the additional effect that happens when the opponent's effect is caused for the discard. So beige summons itself, no additional card effect. Brow is draw one card and draw one more card for the opponent's card effect. Cerulean special summons itself to the opponent's field in defense position. And no, it doesn't do anything when your opponent's for the opponent's card effect. Gold special summons itself, and then if it was discarded by an opponent's card effect, it could destroy up to 2 cards the opponent controls. Grapha destroys the card the opponent controls, and then for the opponent, looks at one random card in your opponent's hand, and if it is a monster, that monster can be special summoned to the player's field. Gren can destroy a spell or trap on the field. Kaki can destroy a monster on the field. Latinum special summons itself, and then for the opponent, one fiend monster gains 500 attack points. Lucid special summons itself, and then for the opponent, it special summons a fiend monster from the deck to either field. Rainbow doesn't have a discard effect, but if it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, it special summons itself, and then it destroys all of the opponent's monsters or spell or traps. Not both. Silva special summons itself, and for the opponent's card effect, the opponent returns 2 cards from their hand to the bottom of the deck in any order. And Snow adds a Dark World card from the deck to the hand, but if it's discarded by an opponent's card effect, You can special summon a monster from the opponent's graveyard to the player's field in face-up defense position. So, Dark World cards do not activate if they are discarded as part of a cost, for example, Lightning Vortex or Monster Reincarnation, but they have several cards that force discards as an effect. For example, Dark World Dealings, Dark World Lightning, or Brawn, Mad King of Dark World. The difference has become easier to determine with the July 2011 problem-solving card text solution. Now, all cards with the discard effect occurring after a semicolon are effects that will cause Dark World monsters' effects to activate. So see discards for effect after a list of such cards. There we go. In general, a Dark World deck should not rely too heavily on card effects that require the opponent to force a discard. Although the archetype has some means of forcing the opponent to make you discard, their situational nature means that you will often have difficulty making the most of the effects. Recommended cards. Yeah, sure. Recommended cards. Since all Dark World monsters are Fiend, you can add Solidarity to boost the attack points of all Dark World monsters by 800, as long as there is at least one Fiend-type monster, and no other types, in your graveyard. We're not really going to play Solidarity, though. Dark World decks can run cards such as Dark Spirit Art Greed, which we're also not going to play, or Advanced Draw, which we're also not going to play, to benefit from their easy graveyard summons. Example, the effects of Gold, Gateway to Dark World, and especially Grapha. Deck Devastation Virus and Eradicator Epidemic Virus for massive destruction, which we're not going to do. Drag Down into the Grave. Actually, all these recommended cards, we're not really going to do. Why? Because they do not directly support the Dark World deck, like the Dark World cards. But for cards such as Dark Deal, I am going to do it because it says to make your opponent discard one random card. And yeah. Anyway, so Drag Down into the Grave also allows you, there we go, to discard and draw and take away one card in your opponent's hand at choice. Mind Crush can then be used, so you can either call out another card that might trouble you or call it wrong, so you can discard for effects. Trance Archfiend is an addition for the deck. It can be normal summoned. Its effect allows you to discard a Dark World monster to trigger its effect and gives itself 500 attack points, and can then be used for the virus cards. If it's destroyed, you can add a banished dark monster to your hand. This works well with the Gates of Dark World. By banishing a Trance Archfiend, you can later recover it by another copy's effect for a loop. Trance Archfiend also makes an easy rank 4 Xyz summon with Beige. Archfiend Heiress can be discarded to search for Trance Archfiend. Call of the Archfiend or be used along with Tour Guide from the Underworld. Certain fabled monsters can be mixed into a Dark World deck as they have synergy with each other, like Dangers. In addition, since they are light, you can then use Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning, or Chaos Sorcerer. Fabled Raven will also enable Synchro Summon, as its effect triggers the effect of Dark World monsters and increase its own level and attack points. So discarding either gold or silver will give you a level 8 Synchro monster. Also now, I think what you could do for the Fabled cards is that you can also use Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End, because Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End is unbanned. It's at 3, I believe. So Raven is also a fiend, so it gets an attack increase from the Gates of Dark World and can be banished for its effect. Also, If you played Solidarity, it also helps with that. Skill Drain and Bag Dalgion, the Dark Dragon Lord. Light Imprisoning Mirror negates effects of light monsters on the field and in the graveyard, only hurting if you have Fabled Raven or other light monsters on the field. Then Dalgion, the Dark Dragon Lord, Dark Rapher, and Dark Armed Dragon works well in a Dark World deck. Allure of Darkness could offer draw power. I think we're going to do Allure of Darkness because even though it's a banish, not a discard, it still helps us get resources. You could then special summon the monster you banished with Leviair, the Sea Dragon. Although unnecessary, forced requisition or appropriate is a quote-unquote appropriate addition to this deck, as it would negate your hand disadvantage. Card Destruction and Morphing Jar are very useful for Dark World decks, as they can provide many discards and draws at once. Fiendish Rhino Warrior is an effective addition to the deck. It protects other fiends from card effects and destruction by battle while it's on the field, and when it's sent to the graveyard, it can act as a foolish burial. You could also use Skarm, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss in the deck. It searches out Brow, Huntsman of Darkworld, or Tour Guide from the Underworld during the end phase of the turn it was sent to the graveyard. Darkworld also heavily benefits from Tour Guide from the Underworld. It can be used to summon Brow, Huntsman of Darkworld, Fiendish Rhino Warrior, or Skarm, Malabranch of the Burning Abyss, and then going for a rank 3 Xyz summon. If you didn't check out my Burning Abyss deck, Burning Abyss episode, you could also check it out here. Alternately, you can bounce Brow to summon Grapha from the hand. So what bouncing means is that it's sending from the field back to the hand. So it's returning from the field to the hand. Basically, let's just say actually that when you bounce something, try and think of the monster being on a trampoline and literally bouncing back to the hand. Weakness and counter strategies. The ultimate threats to Dark World decks are cards that are banished or lock graveyards. Dimensional Fissure, Karma Cut, a great dueling staple, by the way. Masked Hero Darklaw, Banisher of the Radiance, Banisher of the Light, or Macrocosmos and Necro Valley. Any decks that stop discard effect will completely shut down Dark World. Magical Thorn can inflict severe damage by forcing the opponent to take 500 life point damage every time they discard a card. Also, what's a problem is, what's that card? Skull's Invitation. It's every time, well, not just Skull Invitation, Coffin Seller as well. If every time a monster is sent to the graveyard for Skull Invitation, it inflicts 300 points of damage. And for Coffin Seller, I think it's also 300 points of damage. The End of Anubis, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, Soul Drain, or Abyss Dweller will negate or stop activated graveyard effects, making Dark World cards nearly useless. Those cards do not prevent the summon of Grapha. What will also negate or stop activated graveyard effects is what's that card called? I'm gonna go into it and see. Oh, oh, I remember what it is. I remember. It's Silent Graveyard. Silent Graveyard says discard one card. Effects that activate in the graveyard this turn are negated. But it says to discard one card. That will definitely not be a synergy with Dark World. Concentrated light prevents dark monsters from attacking or being summoned. Mirror matching another Dark World deck will cause any of your cards that also make your opponent discard to become a double-edged sword. Like all special summon based deck, cards that prevent special summons will slow this deck down. So I'm gonna go to Dueling Nexus. I'm gonna clear this because we already have that now for last week. And we're gonna do Dark World. So we actually got two normal monsters for the deck, and that is Zhur, Knight of Dark World, and Renge, Gatekeeper of Dark World. Renge, Gatekeeper of Dark World has 2100 defense points, and Zhur, Knight of Dark World has 1800 attack points. So what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna have two of each. Are you kidding me? Dark World just. Oh, I should have seen this coming. Dark World has new support because of the new Dark World structure deck. But what's it called though? Oh yeah, it's structure deck Dark World. I forgot about that. Wow. This is gonna be interesting because not too long ago we just received support for Dark World, and now we're doing Dark Worlds. Wow. Speaking of Dark Worlds, actually, I'm actually gonna do this at the end, but if you haven't checked out episode 6 of the Yu-Gi-Oh Rise of the Planets, you should check it out because this may be a little bit of a spoiler for you, but there's this new character called Sean Power, and it's by my friend the Cave Explorer. Check him out if not already. And what else? Oh yeah, and he runs a Dark World deck. So we got Zhur, Wrench, Rainbow, Supreme Overlord of Dark World, Grapha, Rainbow, Lucent, Platinum, Silva, Gold, Brawn, Snow, Beige, Genta, Brow, Scar, Kaki, Gren, Pearl, Ceruli, Grapha, Dragon Overlord of Dark World. Then we got Dark World Dealings, Charge into a Dark World, Dark World Lightning, Dark World Puppet, Dark World Ascension, Gateway to Dark World, Dark World Grimoire, Dark World Library, The Gates of Dark World, and Dark World Brainwashing. And there's those, and I think we also do Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put one Jur, Knight of Dark World, and one Renge, Gatekeeper of Dark World, to the side deck. So we already got the fusion card for the deck, which is Dark World Ascension. So we got Allure of Darkness as well. And Dark something. Let me just see what that is. Dark Deal. I think there's also a card that says this effect. Just gonna have to look it up what it is. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the card, but it's okay. Um, let's see how good this deck is with the new support. All right, we're gonna go first just to see. Okay, so we're just gonna read this here. Pearl Hermit of Dark World. What is this? If this card is discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target one Dark World monster in your graveyard, except Pearl, special summon it to either field. Then, if it was discarded from the hand to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one of your fiend monsters that is banished in your hand or in the graveyard or the field. So, we are going to activate the field spell, the Gates of Dark World. And then we are going to normal summon our Jur, Knight of Dark World. Then we're going to end our turn. Let's see what you can do. Okay, Allure of Darkness. Fine. We're going to activate Allure of Darkness, which will allow us to draw 2 cards. And then we will banish our Scar, Scout of Dark World. Next, we're going to activate the continuous spell, Dark World Library. Now, during my main phase, I could discard one Dark World monster, and if I do, all Dark World monsters I currently control gain attack points equal to the discarded monster's level times 100 until the end of the turn. Now, okay, this is going to be interesting. We're going to activate Dark World Library's effect. Our Gren, Tactician of Dark World. And then Gren's effect will immediately activate, destroying Wetlands. Also, Dark World Library's effect will activate, discarding Pearl, draw 2, activate Pearl, special summon back Ren. Actually, no, we're gonna special summon from the, yeah, special summon back Ren. And then we are going to activate the Gates of Dark World by banishing one Fiend type monster from our graveyard. We get to discard one Fiend type monster, then we get to draw a card. We'll banish Pearl, Hermit of Dark World, discard Rainbow, Supreme Overlord of Dark World, and draw a card. Next, we're going to activate Rainbow's effect. We're going to add Grapha, Dragon Lord of Dark World. Next, we're going to activate Rainbow, Supreme Overlord of Dark World's effect. By returning our Gren, Tactician of Dark World, back to the hand, we're going to special summon back a Rainbow, Supreme Overlord of Dark World. And then we're going to activate the continuous spell, Dark World Grimoire. And then we are going to enter the battle phase and have Xur, Knight of Dark World, attack the face down monster. And then we'll have Rainbow, Supreme Overlord of Dark World, attack directly. We're now going to end our turn. Terraforming for another wetlands, it's fine. Yeah, you're dead, buddy. We'll just get into the battle phase and attack the game. Yeah, I don't think I have time for another one. I think just minimum or maximum one of those. So next time on Yu-Gi-Oh Archetype Series, we are going to be taking a look at Dark Lords. So that's all for today, guys. And I hope you guys liked this video as much as I did. We didn't really get to summon out our fusion monster, but that's okay. Because if you want to try out Dark World yourself, you could actually get the 2022 Structure Deck Dark World from either Amazon or like either Amazon.ca, Amazon.com, or wherever you buy your seal product. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, as did I, and hit this and smash the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other of my videos. And ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any other of my videos for when I go live. And as always, if you want to check out my Rise of the Planet series and my Archetype series videos, including including episode 6, you could do so here. All right, everyone. This is Josh B. signing out. Peace.